So I didn't get to see the incident with Noah and Chastain, but I did notice that the boos went to cheers real quick. And I'm just like, oh, maybe I changed their mind. But then I saw a scuffle. I just saw a scuffle. I didn't see anything but a scuffle that they were showing on the big screen as I'm kind of pulling away there. And then, so then they, during the media session, Bob Pockrass asked, did you see it? I said, no. And I knew that Bob was on it with his video. He's like, oh, well, I got it. So afterwards, you saw on my social media, we reposted. And I think NASCAR and on Fox and NBC showed my reaction of doing the old side eye to the reaction to it. I thought that, wow, it was interesting for sure. All right, let's break down the fight itself. Well, let's break down the reason.
Right.
We're going to argue here on Actions Detrimental that it was because of the bracket. The bracket is really what fueled these guys' fire, and that's what caused this incident.
Noah wanted to be the first 32 seed to upset a 1.
First
in
ever.
the history of the Denny Hamlin bracket.
That's right.
Yep.
He had an opportunity to make history, and Ross didn't cut him any slack. So that's the story and narrative we're going to go with here on this show. But it looked like very similar to Bubba Wallace and Kyle Larson from last year, where Kyle Larson kind of ran right up on the door of Bubba Wallace, and it caused his car to go right and into the fence. Again, you could say that happened on the last lap as well.
Sounds like that happens. Yeah,
it is. It's just the way these cars work when you're running side by side. I don't think it was anything intentional for sure on Chastain's part. It's just they're racing, and like he said, I left a lane, not a lane and a quarter, not a lane and a half. He left a lane. So I think that is kind of what happens. And when you're on the outside, it's kind of, you got to predict that that's going to happen, and you need to start kind of letting up sooner. And so, no, it didn't. He just held his line and got into the wall, and then voices displeasure by during Chastain down the straightaway, which we also saw Kyle Busch during Chastain earlier in the race, and I think he had some choice words for him as well. I think, again, I don't know. I haven't seen anything that's been super deliberate on Chastain's part in either one of these incidents or even last week, but I just think last week, let me take that. That was more egregious, but then the week before that, sorry we keep bringing this up, but the week before that, like with Noah at the Super Speedway, it was like, what did he do wrong there? I don't really see anything.
Yeah, so, I forgot that played a role in this altercation.
Yeah, and it clearly played a role in Noah's mind because he brought it up in his post-race interview, right? That, hey, he didn't give me the benefit of the doubt or work with me at Talladega. So, you had Noah go up to him, and I don't know, and I guess you guys brought up to me that Chase Elliott put a little birdie in his ear, in Noah's ear, right?
Yeah, I think that was in Noah's interview.
I didn't hear it in Noah's interview, but maybe he did say it.
Maybe there's a longer version.
There's more to the story, but
I did hear that,
Chase Elliott says, "Hey, you ought to go. Someone needs to do something." I don't know if Chase was speaking in general terms, or did he give him the old nudge, whisper in his ear right before, hey, you ought to go over there and confront him,
Yeah.
So anyway, it fueled Noah somehow, some way to go and approach him, which I respect. Like, get mad props to Noah to like, hey, I'm going to be a man and at least go confront him, because others, myself included, haven't confronted Chastain when they felt wrong by him, right? We just get off in the media and spout off about him and say how big of a dick he is, and but Noah's like, well, no, I'm going to go over there. I'm going to do what these other drivers have not. Well, I think Chastain was willing to talk, and Chastain's been very level-headed in these conversations. Again, I've had multiple with him after the race, but he's been very level-headed. He'll talk to you and talk it through. Now, maybe Noah didn't get the response that he was looking for in that moment, which that appeared, what was the first part of it is that I can't read lips, so I can't assume what Chastain was saying to him. but it seemed like Chastain was just like being very matter of fact about what happened.
Yeah.
And it just pissed Noah off more. And Noah Noah grabbed him with his left hand. This is where I start to break it down and figure out, how did this happen? First of all, how is the NASCAR security right there at the right time? How did they know this is where it was going?
On the replay, they don't step into the picture until Noah puts his hands on.
Yeah, but the first car that pitted on pit road is fucking 25 pit boxes away from the last car that's on pit road. So there's a wide range of places that those NASCAR officials or the security could be. How were they in that exact place at that exact time?
Aren't they always where drivers are getting interviewed?
Or maybe they're just like, we're going to go wherever Chastain's at.
Maybe. I didn't think that I didn't see this happen during the race. So for NASCAR to know, like, oh, there might be a fight between Noah Gragson and Ross, like, it's just very random.
It is random, which is why I'm like, how did they know? Somebody in their ear was like, you need to be Deputy 8. We need to be by the 13 red box by the number 1 car. We have the 9 car approaching, wanting a confrontation.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. Because you do see in one of the NASCAR videos, Ross is getting interviewed, and Noah's just standing over here like this.
Okay, so they had time.
So he's like, why is this guy standing here? Yeah.
Listen, you'll be surprised with the Secret Service and those guys.
Yeah.
They got that bud in their ear for a reason, right? They're constantly communicating. They're pretty smart to sense and smell out confrontation, but they were there for that one. All right, so let's break it down. So then Noah grabs Chastain's shirt and bunches him up and starts pushing Chastain back. And at that time, Chastain made a total pro move and grabbed. So he has both of his hands free. He then grabs Noah's right wrist with his left hand.
Wrist control.
Wrist control is such an important part of a fight. He crosses. He's backing up. He grabs Noah's right wrist. So immediately he knows that Noah's probably stronger. He's going to lead with the right. So I'm going to know when he starts to bow up with the right because I've got control of his wrist and I'm holding it down. So he knows that Noah really can't force a punch on him unless he's going to go jab. So he's got control of his wrist, and all of a sudden Chastain backs up as far as he's willing to, and he's telling Noah, stop. And he told him twice, stop. And he didn't stop. And then so Chastain then, while holding the right wrist, comes with the right hand with a solid, I mean, you could hear it right to the jaw, right? Connects as good as you could possibly connect. And it was quick. He's got some quick twitch moves, quick twitch muscles in his body. And he left Noah, defenseless in the moment. However, Noah was about to come with a counter. And you saw him, he had gotten broken free of Chastain holding his wrist with the right, and he was about to come in. That's when Gold Shirt comes in there, breaks it up. So it's like, oh man, we just was about to see a counter, and it got broken up. So it sucks that happened. I wish they just kind of would have
let it go hockey style.
Let it go, right? You let him go until it gets to the floor, and then you come up. But Noah got his counter intercepted by security. So Chastain once again gets a huge W.
Yeah.
with got him on the track, got him off the track, and nothing happened. But
my favorite part is when security comes in and pulls and is breaking it up. Chastain is like, his both hands up. I don't want no trouble. I don't want no trouble.
Oh, it's so good. I mean, it's like Chastain has thought about this moment for a while, and it's like,
oh, he's had to.
You would think, right? Because we're saying on last week's podcast, someone's got you either got to do this or you got to do that to make it stop. And even Noah referenced, like, it's as if these guys are listening, because Noah was like, yeah, I had to go do something. No, nobody else was. I'll say this about Noah. The guy can take a fucking punch, though. I appreciate the guy's jaw. Like, Hemrick connected. Hemrick did the old pull back, miss, bam, hit him with the right. I mean, Noah's taken a few punches here, and I just hope it doesn't make Noah hesitant.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Have we seen the last of Noah starting?
No, hell no, because Noah can take a punch. That's
He's
what
0 for 2 in
I
driver
get it, but
altercations.
I don't think it'll stop him. I think he's one of those guys that's just he's going to keep coming back, and he's going to make sure he gets the first punch next time. So, wildly entertaining for sure. NASCAR wins on this one. Huge banner day for NASCAR. They had a great race on the racetrack. They had a great fight in the pit area. Everyone, the Mike Ford and the statistics group, they're waving the checkered flag. Look, how great our race was. Huge W for the series.
Do you think this ends it all for drivers wanting to get back at Ross Chastain, though? Off the racetrack.
I think maybe it makes them more hesitant, for sure. I think it shows.
What driver in the field, now that they've seen this, is going to go press Ross Chastain outside the car?
I mean, I think there's a list of them that ain't afraid to take a hit. I mean, I wouldn't be afraid to take a hit as long as I can get my hit in.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
So, I wouldn't be.
It's not guaranteed.
No, it's not guaranteed. But I mean, you got to be willing to take a punch. No one enters a fight thinking, well, I'm going to go untouched and I'm just going to wail on this guy. Like, when you start a fight or you are a part of it, you're going to have to take one, here and there. Is your jaw going to be strong enough to take one? Noah's jaw's clearly good enough. So I think, it does make you a little more hesitant if you don't feel like, you're going to have a fighting chance. I know that Kyle Larson said after him and Bubba, he's just like, people were like, well, why didn't you stand up for yourself when Bubba was pushing you? He was like, dude, because I would get my ass whipped. That's why I didn't fight back. Because, what am I going to do here? I'm 140 pounds, like, versus a guy that's probably 185. It's like, I'm going to lose. But, you at least got to, Chastain, he was willing to try, and he connected well.
Yeah, there is a cherry on top to all this. Like, obviously, great race. Good for you in that you won. We had the fight on pit road. But Chastain throws his right hook, knocks Noah in the face, and then 5 minutes later comes to victory lane to congratulate you.
Hats off to him. He's finding a warm place in my heart, Chastain is. He really is. So I just feel like, since Phoenix, which is what's supposed to happen, is you get into it, you talk it out, you're very rational, which we were. We said, listen, we're going to judge each other from this point forward. And there were specific moments in that race where Chastain either could have continued to run side by side with me or let me go. And he let me go multiple times. And I told him when he came up, so, to let people know what he said, he just said to me, he was like, awesome drive, man. I never thought you were going to get back to him. Congrats. I said to him, hey, I recognize what you did early in the race. You'll get that back.
Yep.
And so that's the kind of the respect that you want to have between drivers, is that, I wanted him to know that, hey, I recognized you cut me a couple breaks this race. So I want you to know it is in my piggy bank that, when the roles are reversed and you're faster, I probably need to let him go a couple times as well. So that's how I think it's supposed to be done. And, thank you for him for coming up. He was that was manly of him.
Yeah,
sure.
I think we've reached a point in this relationship where he could come on here and now laugh about all the bullshit that you guys
Hey,
have done
you never
to each
know.
other.
I mean, as you know, Ross is not shy about it. Doesn't matter what happened last week. He's willing to be the bulldog the next week as well. So it's starting to warm up to him for sure.
Yeah, his tweet was good too.
Oh, I love
After
it.
the
I told you on the plane, I saw his tweet. It was just like, he said, uneventful day in Kansas. Looking forward to next week. And I'm just like, he's trolling us, right? He's definitely
sure.
trolling us. So that was awesome by either him. It was probably his social team for sure.
He gained a lot of fans yesterday.
Yeah.